Now, during his inauguration, President Trump told the crowd that we are transferring power from Washington, D.C. and giving it back to you, the American people. Sounds great, right? Again, that was a speech written by Steve Bannon. Now, however, Donald Trump seems to have a different idea of the American people, of who are the American people, than you and I do. Now, basically what I'm trying to say is that instead of handing power back to you, well, documents recently obtained by the Intercept show who he really wants to give the power to. His wealthiest donors, his VIPs. In fact, Bernie Sanders might have said a little bit of something about it along those lines. Let's check that out real quick.
I found it somewhat amusing that Mr. Trump, President Trump, was punching the establishment, but right behind him, John, sitting in the VIP sections, were billionaire after billionaire after billionaire. Some of the most powerful people in this country who over the last 10, 20 years have become much, much richer while the middle class has shrunk. And when billionaires and large corporations are funding many of your inaugural events.
And that's essentially what's going on, is that you have lots of really rich donors bankrolling this inauguration. Now, in the documents, the Trump administration allocated at least a dozen of 183 seats on the inaugural platform to donors and fundraisers who sat beside cabinet designees, senators, and President Trump's immediate family. Now, another 49 seats for the pre-inaugural Friday morning church service was also purchased by a billionaire fundraiser. Now, one guy gets 49 seats. He must have given a lot of money for that. Now, these documents were released from the inauguration's organizing committee, and they indicate that Donald Trump is essentially doing what we all despise of politicians, paying back their wealthy donors with access. Again, showing that he is a standard politician. That's what we've been saying for the entire election. Donald Trump, standard politician. He's going to do the same things. But anyway, now these documents include a guest list for VIPs who you likely saw standing behind Trump during the swearing-in ceremony. Now, these include mega donors like Sheldon Adelson, Carl Icahn, Steve Wynn, Woody Johnson, and Richard LaFrock. Now, these are 5 billionaires with a combined net worth of more than $60 billion. Now, Adelson was reportedly one of the very small number of people who ended up shaking hands with Donald Trump following his inaugural address. Well, I wonder how much he paid for that. Now, there's another one who was Thomas J. Barack Jr., he chaired President Trump's inaugural committee. Now, he was allocated 49 of the 259 seats for Friday morning service at St. John's Episcopal Church, which was attended by Trump and his family. More seats than those allocated to all the other donors combined. Now, the committee reportedly raised $100 million in private money to help pay for this inauguration. That's why he got so many seats. 49 seats for $100 million in donations. That's how the system works. Now, Barrack and 6 of his guests had seats in the inaugural platform. Barrack's personal seat allocation for the St. John service is roughly comparable to that of Vice President Mike Pence, who received 52 church seats and 42 platform seats designated for friends and family. Now, again, why would they purchase all those seats? Why would they make this $100 million donation? Well, it's not to get a good seat. Well, maybe it is, but in a different way. We're talking about access here, access to the president. They give Donald Trump money and they get access. Their policy priorities get prioritized over others. Now, look, this is the same problem we point out with all the different politicians. Now, do you think somebody like Donald Trump or anybody who gets all this money from these private billionaires are going to listen to you? No, they're going to listen to people like Sheldon Adelson and Carl Icahn. That's what they're going to do. And this is what it comes down to for politicians. They're not your friends. They're not your allies. They have an agenda. Okay? And it's often to make more money or to have their ideology dictated to the government. These people who give this money are now they're controlling governmental policy through their donations to these politicians. And right now, your average American for years has had little to no say in government policy. Only when it lines up with the priorities of the rich and the powerful does policy actually get put into place. So, for example, if obviously a lot of regular people are in favor of raising the minimum wage. Well, if all the billionaires and all the corporations got behind a minimum wage increase, then we would have a minimum wage increase. But if the rich don't agree, it's very, very unlikely to get put into power or put into law. Policies lacking broad support among the rich are only implemented about 18% of the time. Now, it doesn't take a genius to figure out that surrounding yourself with the rich and powerful is going to make you more receptive to their needs. Not only that, but also getting their money. And that's what these documents show. Donald Trump is surrounding himself with people who do not care about you. They don't care about your wages. In fact, a lot of them would rather keep your wages down. They don't care about your Medicare. They don't care about your Social Security. They don't care about your health care. They're in a rush to repeal the ACA, which is a flawed piece of legislation. But it's not because they're not going after it because it's flawed, because it's hurting the American people. No, the 400 richest families will save $7 million in taxes once the ACA is repealed. They're going to get an average tax cut of $7 million. 400 richest families in America. They don't care about you, man. They don't care. And look, that's not to say that Hillary Clinton and the Democrats would have been too different on corruption, right? They would have just almost been just as corrupt. I would say that Donald Trump is even more corrupt and definitely more brazen about his corruption than Hillary Clinton would have been. But don't get me wrong, she also surrounds herself with billionaires. She surrounds herself with corporate heads. And that's why I'm saying it's not the person, it's not even the party. It is the system that isn't tilted entirely too much towards the rich and powerful. You just cannot replace one bought and corrupt party or party figurehead with another. What you have to do is you actually have to get the systemic problems and fix them. And that's, unfortunately, we've been doing the wrong thing for the last, 4, 5, 6 election cycles. But if we just replace the Republicans this time with a Democrat, then our wages are going to go up. Oh, if we just replace the Democrats with a Republican or a Republican with a Democrat, then our wages are going to go up and our lives are going to get better. Has it happened? Not to a majority of people. Even under President Barack Obama, the rich have gotten richer and wages have essentially stagnated. It's the same kind of economic policy and the same kind of economic effects. And that's the problem that we have. The solution, pretty obvious. You got to get the money out of politics, man. Not only that, but you publicly finance elections, ban lobbying from unions or corporations. Look, do some of these things. Instead of focusing on which party figurehead who says he's going to change things but actually doesn't, and you might actually, when it's all said and done, make America great again. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more like this, please hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to support truly independent, non-corporate media, go to our Patreon page and become a patron. Patreon.com/TYTNation.